I have this matrix and I want to see what is the inverse of this matrix. The first thing that you do when they are asking you to find the inverse of a matrix, you first have to draw it this way. And then you put a line here, and then you write the identity matrix here, which is 1, 0, 0. Then we have 0, 1, 0. Then 0, 0, 1. So whenever you make any changes to your matrix, your identity matrix will be changed as well. And at the end, when you get your identity matrix on the left side of your matrix, then the right side will be your inverse matrix. The first and easiest way that I can see I can change this one to 0. So I'm going to change the color to yellow. I'm going to make this one to 0 because to me this looks like is going to be easy. You might see another one that's easier, you can go with that. And we are changing the last row and we are taking R3 minus R1. So this one minus this. My first row won't change. My second row won't change either. My third row is going to be minus R1, is going to be minus my first row. So I have 2 minus 1 is going to give me a 1. I have 2 minus 2 is going to give me a 0. 2 minus 0, 2 minus 2 give me a 0. 2 minus 0 will give me a 2. And after that I have 0 minus 1 give me a 1. I have 0 minus 0 give me a 0. I have 1 minus 0 will give me a 1. And here I have 0 minus 1, so this is going to be a negative 1. Next step, I'm going to change my color to yellow again. I can see that it's easier for me to change this 1, so I'm going to change that. In order to change that, I'm going to use the second row. So for this part, it's going to be R3 minus R2. And I'm going to draw it here. I have 1, 2, 0, that won't change. And then I have 1, 0, 0. And then I have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Then for my last row, R3 is going to be minus R2. So 1 minus 1 is going to give me 0. So 0 minus 0 is going to give me a 0, and then 2 minus 1 is going to give me a 1. So our last row is completed. As you can see, it does look like our identity. And then for the last part, we're going to do minus 1, 0 is going to give me minus 1. 0 minus 1 gives me another minus 1. And then I have 1 minus 0 is going to give me 1. For my next move, to me looks that it's easier to change this to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use R2 minus R1, so then it will give me a 0. My first row, it's not going to change, so I'm going to write it down, 1, 0, 0. My second row, it's going to be minus first row. So 1 minus 1 will give me a 0. 0 minus 2 will give me a negative 2. 1 minus 0, it's going to give me a 1. And then I have 0 minus 1 give me a 1. It actually gives me a negative 1. Just gonna make it a little bit smaller. It's going to give me minus 1. 1 minus 0 will give me a 1. 0 minus 0 will give me a 0. The last row is going to stay the same, so I'm going to just write it down. So now, to me, it looks that this one is going to be easier to change next. So this is just the sense that you have to develop after working with matrices. Then you will see which one is going to be easier to change. So you just have to practice. So for this, I'm going to go on the second row, and I want to change this one to 0 with the help of my third row. So I'm going to say R2 minus R3. So I'm going to start from top here. It's actually not good. First row is going to stay the same. Second row is going to be changed with the help of my third row. So I have a 0 minus 0, it's going to give me a 0. I have minus 2, negative 2, 0. Negative 2 minus 0 is going to give me negative 2. I have 1 minus 1 will give me a 0. And then I have minus 1 minus minus 1 is going to give me a 0. And 1 minus minus 1 will give me a 2, and 0 minus 1 will give me minus 1. Then my last row will stay the same. After that, I'm looking at this, and to me, the easiest thing that I can change now is to make this 2 a 0. So I'm gonna add R1 plus R2. So 1 plus 0 will give me a 1, 2 plus minus 2 will give me a 0, and then I have another 0 here, so this looks like identity already. And then I have 1 plus 0 will give me a 1, 0 plus 2 will give me a 2, 0 plus minus 1 will give me a minus 1. Or negative 1. And then I have 0, negative 2, 0, 0, 2, negative 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, negative 1, and 1. I'm almost there. The only thing that I need to change right now is this one. And I don't need to use any of these rows because I can just divide this by 2 and it's going to give me my identity matrix. So for the last operation, I'm just going to R2 divide by 2. So first row will stay the same, 1, 2, minus 1. And then second row, 0 divided by 2 is 0, minus 2 divided by negative 2, because we don't want that negative either. So divide by minus 2 or negative 2. It's going to give me a 1, and then 0 divided by negative 2 is 0, 0 divided by negative 2 is 0, 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1, negative 1 divided by negative 2 is giving me half, and then I have 0, 0, 1, minus 1, minus 1, and 1. So your inverse is going to be 1, 2, minus 1, 0, minus 1, half, minus 1, minus 1, 1. This is our final result. Now, there are so many calculators online that you can check if your answer is correct or not. So we're going to check this with one of these. And this one is called Symbolab, symbolab.com. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, minus 2, 0, minus 1, half, minus 1, minus 1, 1. So that just means that we inversed our matrix correctly, and this method works. I hope this video was helpful for you, and see you in next video. Bye!